Hold on, America.
Wait, everyone.
This is going to be great.
Wait. We're running late.
Hey, kitty.
Just pause. Just like 20 seconds. 20 seconds, people. Maybe we should have rehearsed more. I guess is what we're saying. Yeah, this is not going to work at all. Okay.
Here, why don't you hold that cat? We have a show about kittens tonight, and we have a kitten here, but the kitten likes being into the
great
hole.
Television. Like, if you want to see more shows like this on your television, please write to john@johnwantsanswers.com.
Okay, here we are. I'm John, and I want answers, and I've got 2 kittens to feed. Tonight, I want answers about James Comey and moving embassies and kittens. There's no stopping us now, because we're live.
John wants answers. John wants answers. Give John answers. Give John answers. John wants answers. John wants answers. Give John answers now.
I mean, there almost was stopping us now.
John wants answers.
Hopefully we're recording this show tonight. So, check your calendar. If it says June 8th, 2017, then we're live.
We are live, right? I mean, someone's checked. Wait, I'll check.
There's a mistake.
Talk among yourselves.
If you go on the website, I don't think we're live on the website. We're live on KMVT, and we're live on Facebook Live. Kitty, kitty, kitty. And here's my kitty cat.
Well, well, there went your cat.
We'll be. Wait, did I say? Did I say the date already?
You did. Yeah.
Hey, it's my anniversary. I've been in this country for 21 years.
I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Congratulations. Welcome to America.
If I was
We're
born
sorry
the
we
day
screwed it up for you. I mean, have you wanted to go back lately?
I'm going to go back in November.
And stay?
Not to stay.
Yeah,
It's cold in Canada. In November, especially.
Okay. We're not live on the internet.
We're live on the Facebook.
Yes, on the Facebook.
Okay.
Okay, your cat is trying to escape.
Where's the cat?
Yeah, it's down there. It's trying to escape.
Hey, kitty.
Come here, kitty.
So my guest tonight is Keith Stattenfield, because he has many Twitter followers.
I do. I have a lot of Twitter followers.
No more Twitter followers compared to last month. Do you know there's a Keith Stattenfield on Twitter?
I don't.
Who has 2 followers?
Wow.
Yeah. Keith. It's like Keith without an I.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Is it you?
No, it's not me.
I gotta go find this guy.
Yes, you do.
Or girl. Could be a girl, but it's probably a guy.
It's probably a guy.
It's probably a robot.
I think it's someone who's just trying to copy you.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
With 2 followers. Not doing a good job, Kath.
You can tweet us. We're at John Wants Answer. No S on the end, because that's for suck.
I have 6 new followers this week.
Really? You must have lost 6 followers.
I guess I didn't pay for them.
If you don't want to tweet us, you can go to our website, johnwantsanswers.com. Click on the contact link, and then you can send us a message, and we'll read it here.
Okay. Look, we forgot to put the microphone thing behind.
Yeah, we have.
It's just sitting on the desk.
I have another one right here too.
Yeah.
Are you saying the show is not coming off to a good start?
I'm just saying this is we should rehearse. We should rehearse like maybe 15 minutes before the show.
This is our season 8 premiere.
Yeah.
So people trying to go to the live link on the website are going to think we got canceled. We didn't make it to season 8.
Yeah.
Because they're like, why is the show not updating? But yeah, I always had hoped. I always forget. We did this once. I always want a cliffhanger at the end of the last season.
Yeah.
And then the resolution at the start
of
the next season. So we had our friend Harpreet on once.
Yeah.
And he put a box labeled bomb on the desk at the end of a season.
Yeah. Who would have thought having a brown guy put a box labeled bomb on a desk would cause problems?
Simpler times. And then at the next season premiere, we were all like, hey, the bomb got defused and everything was fine.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all.
No?
Was I there?
You were there. It was your idea to have the brown guy put the bomb box on the table.
I would not. That would not have been my
I never
idea.
would have suggested that.
I would never have that. Yeah.
Okay.
This is revisionist. # fake news.
The opinions stated here are my own, not necessarily those of my company.
Okay. How about your cat?
Where did kitty cat go?
He's over here.
Oh, she. That cat looks a lot like this cat.
Yeah. But
twins.
scared her.
Yeah, this one just stays put in one spot for a long
That
time.
was a doll. Yeah. I mean, you know that, right? I mean, it's...
Yes. We had a tweet I saw before the show from
Okay.
J. Carey USA
J. Carey USA.
tweets, is the American Embassy staying in Tel Aviv?
Yes.
So our first topic, moving embassies.
Man, we should have called the piano guy. Oh, there he is.
There he goes. A little late. So I heard about Trump signing a waiver
Yeah.
to delay the move of the embassy another 6 months.
Yeah.
And this confused me on many levels.
Okay.
Like, another 6 months. That means it had been delayed.
Before.
Before.
Yeah, like many times.
And I had never
Like
heard
it's
of
never
this.
getting moved.
It's never getting moved.
That's never getting moved.
And so, I mean, something called the Jerusalem.
Yeah, Congress passed a
Embassy.
law, and they said you have to move it.
When did they do this?
Oh, like back in the 90s.
Why would they care where the American embassy would be?
They don't, but they have constituents that care enough to lobby them to make them pass laws that they know will never actually get implemented.
Who cares what city the embassy is in?
Staunch Israelis who believe that Jerusalem should be the capital of Israel, because that's what it says in the Bible or the
Okay.
Torah.
Is the American embassy required to be in whatever the capital
No,
city
no.
of a country is?
No.
No.
Plenty of nations don't have their embassies in Washington, D.C.
Oh. So then, why did Congress, they passed this law, and I guess,
they passed this pointless law because it made some small number of their constituents happy
Right.
and presumably got them campaign contributions.
and every president,
Passed it knowing that no one was ever going to actually do it.
Oh.
Because they put in an escape hatch, which is, if the president thinks it's a bad idea, he doesn't have to do it yet.
couldn't the president just have vetoed the law?
We could have, but he didn't.
Why not?
Because he knew it was never going to happen.
So instead, he just decided to sign this waiver.
Yeah.
And it's not just the current president. Like,
Yeah, it's like
presidents going back since
it's
Clinton.
like 20 years it's been.
20 years. So does Israel want its capital to move to
Some
Jerusalem?
people in Israel want the capital to move, and some of them don't.
What's stopping the capital from
I
being
think
moved?
logically Jerusalem is considered the capital of Israel, but that's just not where most of the government buildings are.
So it already is the capital.
Well, but I think most of the government is actually still in Tel Aviv.
So it's not the capital.
Yeah, funny, huh?
I don't know if funny is a word I use for it. So when the White House
Yeah.
issued a statement,
Yeah.
when President Trump
Like
signed
I
the
delayed
waiver,
it 6 months.
and he said that no one considered this step to be in any way a retreat from the president's support for Israel.
Yeah, no one should do that. I mean, that would
Right.
be,
But it would
that would be
think,
insane, even though it is in fact clearly a retreat from his very clear promise during the campaign that he would stop doing this crazy thing every president before him did.
Oh, really?
And he would actually, ensure that the embassy was moved to the rightful capital of Israel.
So that was his campaign
Jerusalem.
promise
Yeah.
that he would do that?
Yeah. But he's not doing any of his campaign
Okay.
promises. We don't have a wall.
No, not yet. Okay, so saying that you're behind the movement says you're behind Israel, even though every president was not for this move. But every president before was pro-Israel.
Yes.
Okay. I shouldn't say okay.
The downside is Jerusalem is, Israel claims it as its capital.
Uh-huh.
Palestine also claims Jerusalem as its capital. It's a divided city.
Is it a walled city like Berlin used to be?
I don't think it's quite walled the way with barbed wire and
yeah.
soldiers
Right.
that Berlin was, but it is clearly divided into a Palestinian portion, ever shrinking, and an Israeli-controlled portion.
So is Jerusalem right on the border of Israel and Palestine, kind of? So they can share the
It's
city?
not quite on the border. I mean, it's not quite on the border.
But they're sharing the city.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I guess the problem would be if Israel claimed it as its capital, Palestinians would be like, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You can't do that 'cause that's our capital. We want that to be our capital.
Well, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so it's disputed, so maybe safer not to.
Yeah, we can hope.
All right. Well, we got to stop for a break. When we come back, we are going to get to James Comey.
James Comey.
So don't go away.
The cougar is the largest of North American cats. There are usually 2 to 5 cubs per litter. Their spotted coats will disappear in about 6 months, and they will stay with the mother for 1 to 2 years. An adult cougar may weigh 150 pounds, measure 7.5 feet in length, and can leap 20 to 30 feet with ease. The steady encroachment of man into his territory and relentless bounty hunting have driven the cougar into the most remote sections of the Rocky Mountain Range, but occasional sightings are still made in almost all Canadian provinces. For more information on the cougar, contact the Canadian Wildlife Service in Ottawa.
Hello, and we've returned. And that was the cougar.
Yeah, that was cougar.
Yes.
Man, cats are cute.
I know.
Even big cats.
I mean,
they kill us.
My little cat looks all like
they
those
did in a moment. Like if they were hungry and we were like jogging through the forest with headphones in, like we'd be cougar meat.
Unless we were like performing magicians in Las Vegas. Then the big cat would be our friend until we had a heart attack.
Yeah, well,
and they would try to eat us. So we have tweets.
Wow.
I am going to address some tweets. So the reason we had a kitten on the show, the kitten's right here.
Yes. This cat's trying to escape, by the way.
Oh, it's peeking out a little hole.
That's what I'm saying.
We've had all these tweets about kittens.
Really?
That wouldn't stop. So now we have a kitten on the show. And now the kittens. Well, I predicted we would see the kitten
from Nicole.
And
Nicole's not even watching.
Yeah, probably not.
No, she's at the WWDC Bash.
The Bash is tonight?
Yeah, it's tonight.
Wow.
Fall Out Boy's performing. That's who I'm missing. I could be at a party right now with free adult beverages.
We got a tweet from Holland Jim.
Holland Jim.
Remember Holland Jim?
No.
He's our viewer named Jim from Holland who watches us all the time.
Well, not tonight because the link doesn't work.
Maybe he's watching on Facebook. He says, we were in California last month. He was in California last month.
Did he call you?
But he didn't know that we were doing the show a week earlier.
Oh,
and
so
if he did,
sad.
he could have been here live. Can you imagine? They came to come see us both. That would have been incredible if Holland Jim was here.
If only
in the
you
studio.
posted this kind of stuff to the website so he could keep up.
I think at the end of the previous episode, I said, hey, we're a week earlier next time.
Oh, so he must not actually watch.
I don't think
He's probably just one of them Russian spam bots.
I don't think he follows our tweets as much as he'd like us to think he does.
Yeah. We're on to you, Holland Jim.
What else do we have? We have more tweets.
Yeah.
I want to skip all
Are
those.
these real tweets or are these fake tweets?
No, real ones. Retta Bear tweeted, what's the use of having a pet if you don't pet it? I tried to pet it when I was dragging it out of the box. Asking for Jim Twu. Oh, well, Jim Twu, he's our audio guy today.
Yeah, he's our audio guy.
Normally he has a
Does he have a
show.
pet?
Does Jim Twu have a pet?
I don't know.
I think he eats his pets. Right? He names them like lunch and dinner.
Sounds like something Jim would do.
Whenever I post a picture of a cute animal on Facebook, his response always is, looks delicious.
Looks delicious? Yeah.
Yeah. So
parents, don't let your daughters date Jim Twu.
All right. So that's our tweets. We got an email.
Really?
From Chris Way, who said, what happened to James Comey?
Oh,
so our next topic, James Comey. Who is James Comey?
He's a former director of the FBI.
Oh, why is he
fired?
Why did he get fired?
Because he was snooping around Trump's Russia stuff, and Trump didn't like it.
Wasn't that his job?
Yeah, that was his job.
Okay, but
Trump's job was to not fire him.
Okay,
so one of the two of them is good at their job.
But isn't it always the case when a new president comes into office that they fire all the people who worked for the last administration? No,
a lot of them. But generally, the FBI director, they try to make it less political of an office.
Oh, okay.
And so they generally say the FBI director should serve for a 10-year term and then get reappointed, and you shouldn't fire them except for cause. Like only one FBI director before has ever been fired, and that's because he was stealing money.
Oh, who is that?
Sessions? Someone Sessions?
Jeff Sessions?
Not Jeff Sessions. Someone else Sessions.
Okay.
Might not have been Sessions. Something. It might have been.
It wasn't.
Clinton fired him because he was spending government money to make his house better. And
Oh, that sounds terrible.
faking invoices
I would
so
fire
he
that
can
guy.
travel to meet family.
So the president, can he tell the FBI director what to do, what to investigate?
In theory, yes.
In
Everyone
theory,
in the
yes.
executive branch works for the president.
Oh. So he could say to Mr. Comey, hey, don't investigate things about that country over there.
Yes, but he could also be violating the law by doing that.
Oh,
Because the president isn't above the law.
okay.
And if
Does this president know that?
I don't know.
Okay.
I have my grave doubts. I have grave doubts. I mean, if obstruction of justice is against the law, even if the president does it.
Oh, okay. So it was improper for Trump to tell.
That's my
Comey
belief.
to stop investigating
Trump
Michael Flynn.
didn't think it was improper.
Okay. Well, isn't he denying he actually did that as well?
No, he was on television. I mean, he did a TV interview with some guy and said, yeah, I fired him because he kept investigating this Russian stuff, which I knew there was nothing behind it. So I
Really?
fired him.
Oh, okay. So now we had a president named Nixon
Yeah.
who had to go away.
Yeah.
He was impeached on obstruction of justice.
It's one of the
right?
charges, yeah.
And that's.
But he actually wasn't impeached. He resigned before he was impeached.
I thought they voted to impeach him, then he resigned before the trial could start?
No,
Or
he resigned before they could
vote to impeach him?
vote to impeach him.
Ah. So
I mean, only Andrew Jackson and Bill Clinton were the only two presidents who were ever impeached.
Okay.
And
they both
no president has ever been
convicted.
convicted in the Senate.
Oh, wow. There's a time for everything.
Yeah, well, just wait.
Now, was it improper for the FBI guy to tell Trump that he was not being investigated?
Weirdly, prosecutors can lie to people all the time. So no, it wasn't improper. It might not have been a good idea.
Yeah.
It's not even clear if he did it.
Oh. Well, I think he admitted to doing that. But is it true he wasn't being investigated? Do we know that?
No, I don't know that.
Okay. So,
I mean, we know that Michael Flynn was being investigated
yes.
and is still being investigated by a new special prosecutor.
Is that different than the FBI? Like, have the FBI stopped investigating him? Or are they both investigating him?
No. The special prosecutor is under under the current acting FBI chief.
Okay. Does he have to listen to the current FBI chief?
Yes.
Oh, so the current
He
chief...
could still, they could fire this special prosecutor too.
The current
Like
chief
Nixon,
could...
Nixon fired the special prosecutor that was looking into Watergate.
Oh,
Because
okay.
he was unhappy that the guy kept looking into Watergate.
Yeah. Sounds familiar.
And more than that, like Nixon called a guy and said, fire this guy. And the guy he called said, no, I'm not going to fire him. So Nixon fired that guy and then hired a new guy and then told the new guy, fire the special prosecutor. And that new guy fired the special prosecutor.
That was Mr. Bork, right?
And then that new guy later got nominated to a Supreme Court seat. And then part of the reason he didn't get it is it turns out left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth.
Oh, okay. I remember Bork. He got nominated under Reagan?
Reagan.
Yeah.
Good times. Good times, people.
Now, did Nixon actually fire the FBI director?
Now.
Okay. Because the Richard Nixon Presidential Library
Yeah, so we didn't fire the FBI director.
decided to set things straight and say he never fired the FBI director.
Yeah.
But that was like the whole Saturday Night Massacre, they called it.
Yeah, that was firing the special prosecutor looking into the Watergate issues.
Right. And there's been like similarities, people are thinking, to the massacre to what's happening
FBI,
now.
people being fired for obstructing investigations into the office of the president.
Because
into investigations that may...
now Sally Yates is a person who's
U.S.
been fired.
attorney,
She was fired.
fired.
What was she fired for?
Well, U.S. attorneys often get asked to resign when a new president comes in.
Okay, so it's not like FBI.
They often don't get asked to resign after a new administration comes in until they've appointed replacements. But many, and it's not all of them always. I mean, there are U.S. attorneys that have served and been reappointed or just remain in their positions across presidential administrations.
Okay, so her firing wasn't anything like
It-
this.
was similar. I mean, she was reportedly looking at some things involving the president, and then the president said, "You're fired."
Wasn't she fired because she wouldn't defend the Muslim ban that
Yes.
he wanted?
Actually, yes. She was fired for not going to court to argue in favor of his first Muslim ban.
And
The other New York prosecutor that got fired, Preet.
they fired a lot of
Yeah,
lawyers.
he was looking into Trump stuff in New York and was
Oh,
fired.
Okay. Now, the Attorney General is a little bit different than the FBI in that the President can tell the Attorney
Well,
General
the
what to do?
FBI director works for the Attorney General, is under the Attorney General.
Oh.
Attorney General is the chief law enforcement officer in the country. And so the FBI works for him. I think the Secret Service works for him, although they might have moved Secret Service to Homeland Security.
So Jeff Sessions is the current
Is the
Attorney General.
current Attorney General.
And there has been rumors of his interaction with Russia as well, right?
Yes.
So he's going to have the FBI director might have to be investigating his boss about Russian involvement. Is that right?
Yes, although they presumably would appoint a special prosecutor for that as well. And I think Mueller, the current thing, would have the authority to also investigate Jeff Sessions. But I'm not sure.
Okay. So James Comey is in the news today
The news today.
because he was testifying in front of Congress, right?
Yes, the
not quite all
Senate
Congress.
Intelligence Committee.
Okay. So did he call them up and say, "Hey, I got stuff to tell you," or did they say, "Hey, James, you want to come by and tell some stuff"?
I suspect it was somewhere between those two. Like, I don't think he had to call them and say, "Hey, I have stuff I could tell you." I think they knew that.
Okay.
And I think he knew they could, subpoena him, but
Was he subpoenaed, or did he just asked and he said, "Yeah, sure, I'll do it"?
I'm sure officially there's always a subpoena somewhere just to make it all official.
And there was talk of President Trump was going to try and stop him from testifying.
Earlier in the week, people were like, well, President Trump could use executive authority to keep him from testifying, which I think no one besides the White House thought would work.
Oh.
Like every legal expert I saw was like, you can't, first of all, you fired him. It doesn't work for you anymore. So you can't
now he's a private-
assert executive authority to keep a private citizen from testifying. You can say, one of my employees won't testify because they work for you.
Right.
And so they're still part of the executive branch, but you fired him. So that excuse is out the thing. And then they were like, well, maybe you could say he can't talk about what you talked about with him. But then Trump went on the news shows and tweeted about all the stuff that he talked about with Comey.
Oh.
So it's hard to say, well, those conversations that I revealed were private, and so executive authority should apply. Because they weren't private, because he said what
You already told
they
about it.
talked about.
Okay. So what were they talking about today? The Senate Intelligence Committee, they'd already convened to figure out why he was fired, or?
Both the House Intelligence Committee and the Senate Intelligence Committee have been investigating the allegations of Russian interference in the elections last November and some other issues that have arisen during that. The appointment and subsequent firing of Michael Flynn as National Security Director. The Sessions thing where he, during his confirmation hearing, asserted he had never spoken to any Russians, and then later it turns out he met with the Russian ambassador a couple times.
Is there
And
going to
a
be
couple
any,
other Russians, and possibly a couple other Russians, and
does
didn't reveal
Congress care that he perjured himself? Or is that
That's
not an
a
issue for
great
them?
question.
Is that not an issue to them that he perjured himself?
It's a great question. We'll see.
Oh, okay. So James Comey's testifying as part of the general Russian investigation.
Well, he's testifying because he was FBI director, and then he was looking into the Russian. I mean, he testified when he was still employed about what he had learned that could be revealed publicly. And if he was still FBI director, they might have called him back to give further testimony about what else has been learned. In this case, he got fired because he was looking into something that the president thought he should stop looking into. And he testified about his interactions with President Trump since President Trump took office.
And so what did we learn?
The allegations of obstruction of, I mean, and his claim,
Right.
perhaps not claim, his thoughts that possibly obstruction of justice is something a prosecutor could look into as having occurred in the interactions he had with President Trump with respect to Michael Flynn, and President Trump pressuring the FBI director to stop investigating Michael Flynn because he's a good man and he didn't do anything wrong.
But he perjured himself, and he lied to the vice president. Which is why.
Michael Flynn almost certainly lied on his security clearance,
Oh, okay.
on the questionnaire for it. He almost certainly lied by omitting who was paying him for his consultancy business, both paid speeches in Russia and money the Turkish government gave him, including money that they gave him after he had started being national security director.
Oh.
Which is just flat out not allowed.
That sounds not like something you should allow. So we heard on today's testimony that President Trump demanded his loyalty.
Yes, that's one of the things he said.
What does that mean? It means like you need to support me and break the law if you have to, or do things I say. What does that mean?
I think that's a good interpretation of if someone told you I
Or
like my employees to be loyal to me.
I just saw a movie recently that reminds me of this. Do you think James Comey would wake up and find a horse head in his bed?
I think he's more likely to wake up and find polonium floating around in his bloodstream, personally. But, I mean, the thing about a horse head is it's scary, but you're still alive. And so you can continue to testify.
But polonium inhibits. It's a testifying hit inhibitor.
You might still be alive when you realize you have it floating around in your bloodstream, but it is unlikely that that condition is going to remain.
Will continue for much longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So what do you think is going to come out of this?
I don't think anything's going to come out of it.
No? Like we all have our hopes up that there's going to be a big scandal and heads going to roll.
I mean, when Comey first talked about his conversations, President Trump said, well, he'd better hope there's no recordings of this. Because with the strong implication that those recordings would back up Trump. So if there are recordings of this, and if they back up Trump, nothing is going to come of this. And if they back up Comey, it is going to be increasingly difficult for people to continue to support President Trump.
I think someone's thinking.
But I think they will continue to support President Trump because, again, he could shoot a guy in Times Square and no one would care, and his supporters would not care.
Okay. Well, it looks like we're out of time.
Yeah, we say that because
we're
fired upon.
We're being shot at. So stay tuned. After this show, we have Deep Connect on KMVT.
Are you sure?
I looked up
every
on the
time you
schedule.
talk about it, I walk out of here and look at what's actually on KVT. It's never what you said.
No, I looked it up. I went to the website. Well, I know if the website's correct.
Yeah,
What
see,
it says? Deep Connect is next, and then Jim Two's show. What the Bleep is going to be coming on after that. It's after hours because it's risque.
Yeah.
It's a risque show.
Yeah.
All right, our next show is. Where'd the card go for next show? Next show is the second Thursday of July.